Let's talk about it. Now let's get chatty, 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 chatty. Let's talk about it.
Hey guys.
Hola. Hi.
I'm Deanne.
Lillian. Dolores.
Thank you for joining us today.
And welcome to Now Let's Get Chatty.
So it's kind of with heavy hearts that we have to discuss this, but you see it everywhere on Facebook, on the news, Instagram. You're just seeing the video of the injustice that has happened to George Floyd. And we just kind of want to touch on that just a little bit and kind of give you our chat talk about it. Now, I just kind of want to ask the girls, what was their initial response when they saw the video? My initial response when I saw it was, I was like, wait, did I just see what I saw? Like, I wasn't sure at first. And you hear the people in the background saying like, he's unresponsive. And me watching that, I just was unsure if I had just witnessed what I witnessed. So I was just like in disbelief. Was anybody else in disbelief when they saw that? Or you've seen it multiple times, you're just kind of numb to
Yeah, I was
it?
going to say, you see it so much in America, period, that it was just very disheartening. Like, oh my goodness, once again.
Yeah.
So the same for me, feeling heavy. I couldn't even complete the video because, I mean, you just, in the inside, you just kind of just wanted to attack him and get him off of the man instead of just standing there. And I was just like, in the inside, I was just like, why didn't anyone just get him off of him?
That's the same thing I said. I was like, wait, how come somebody, like, even a bystander, just like, get off his, I mean, I don't know if I would be like, get off of him, or because it was more than one officer on him, like, how come it didn't trigger, like, you're on his neck?
The officers are in agreement, from what I've noticed. When things like that happen, I feel like they cannot act against each other. They have to be in unison.
I think you can correct someone. Like, I seen another video, an officer was on another man's neck, and the officer just tapped his knee, and moved his knee off his neck. It was that simple. Somebody else could have simply done that, and this young man possibly would have been alive today. And I know there's been riots and there's been outrage, and I don't know what is the correct way to protest this. Because when we protest when protests happen in peace, people still say there's a way to do it. And when you speak out, oh, there's a way to do it. So what is the right way to do it? What is the correct way to be seen, to be heard? I don't know at this point.
And when you do see things like businesses being burnt and completely destroyed, you know, it's sad that it is property that is being destroyed and it is property that is being stolen, because I definitely don't condone that. But this is stuff that can be rebuilt.
Right.
This is stuff that can be replaced.
Yeah.
You cannot replace someone's life.
No, you can't. That's so true.
And inside of me, I was just like, this is someone's son.
Yeah.
This could be a father. This could be someone's son if his parent is still living. This is a brother.
Right.
This is a life.
This is all. Definitely, it's a life. Definitely.
And I feel like we're so big on things that are not important. So, you know, people band together for lives such as abortion. You know, we care about babies. We care about animals, because we have a whole human rights thing. I mean, animal rights thing, and all kinds of agencies for animals, and how they're treated and mistreated.
Right.
And they're animals, not to say that they don't matter, or not to say that they're not important, but when it comes to lives of human beings, it's almost we're very insensitive and don't have much care for life when it comes to humans.
I just feel like I don't know if it's a matter of them, like, for example, animals are pretty much helpless. They can't speak, they can't say stop. But you have someone speaking, you have someone saying stop. Why would you not heed? Why would you not take what they're saying as real, as serious? I don't know which way that this country can remedy this. I feel like a whole generation would have to die off. But if they taught the next generation, behind us, those who are in those teenagers, if they're being taught this racism, or they're being taught shades of colors of skin, is it something that's going to continue? Is there going to ever be a remedy for it? I don't know. I can't say yes, I see this, or the way things have happened and mapped out, there's going to be a change. I don't know, because I just feel like there's always going to be such a gap. There's always going to be such a gap in how people feel even just towards one another. Like there's just always like an emotional gap.
This makes me think of something when it comes to business. And we're talking about just business institutions, right? Mm-hmm. So there's always some statement, value of statement. There's always something that they stand and that basically says, this is our declaration. This is what we do. This is what we've devoted ourselves to. And it makes you think about the institution, like what are they committing themselves to? Mm. And if they're not committing themselves to what you state, mm-hmm. then you need to go back, and some things need to be broken down and redone, because it really is looking like, for what they stand for, protection, to protect, to what?
To protect and serve.
To protect and serve. And you hear a man saying that he can't breathe. It's just like it completely tears down that whole statement of what they're supposed to. It completely tears it down. And what happens when it gets torn down? The institution or whatever they stand on, the platform that they stand on, the foundation that they stand on, it begins to tear up. And then you have no value. Then people don't respect you.
They don't respect you.
So that's what kind of said in me. It just makes you feel a bit uneasy. It just makes you, like, when you get pulled over, it just makes you feel uneasy when you're there to protect.
Yeah, what precautions do you take when you do get pulled over? Because I've seen videos, people have been shot unarmed, hands on steering wheels. Well, what do? What precautions is there to take? There's no list that says, okay, keep your hand on the steering wheel, don't blink in 60 seconds. There's not like a list of things to do that you're not supposed to do. We do have some moral and some character values that you're not supposed to do. But what is it what's going to keep you safe? If you made a vow to protect and you made a vow to serve a community, then you serve that community. You don't serve a color. You're not serving a creed, a race. You're serving that community. And that goes from animals, that goes from the fowl of the air, that goes from everything in that community. You're protecting houses, cars, businesses, properties. You're protecting that, and that's what you vowed to do. So let's do what you vowed to do.
I think with seeing all of not the riots and things like that, the question that I ask myself is, well, what is the answer? What exactly is the answer? What do we want to see? I remember back in segregation days, we wanted to be in the same room with them. We wanted to be in the same schools.
Desegregation.
That has happened. But now for this situation, circumstances, especially where black people are being killed and not being punished, even with the Ahmaud situation, people were able to kill him and have not yet been sentenced. It's like, what is the answer? What is the solution? What do we as a people want to see? What is good enough for us to say that justice has been served?
Yeah, what's going to satisfy?
Or what even is justice
right.
for us as a people?
That's good. I know you have to have due process, right? And I know it's not going to happen instantly, because crimes are committed on a daily basis, and sometimes it takes 9 to 2 years for things to come off, for the system to fully run through and them to get their court appearance and whatever and resets and all of that. We know there's a process,
right.
But why is it? I feel like why does it take so long for this process to happen? And when they get arrested, what are their charges? And I'm just curious in this case. I don't know yet. I haven't seen any updates as of this moment. If the other men have been updated, I know I heard people saying they need to surrender because they're just as fault as the man that did it. I feel like from like being taught in school, they said if you are in a car with someone and they get pulled over for possession, or if they do a drive-by, guess what? Everybody in that car is going down for the same crime. Why is that not the case here? If it is, I should check and see if there's any updates, but I don't know.
And what are you speaking on specifically?
I'm talking about the other officers that were on his body as well.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see any other officers. I saw a guy standing, and then I saw him kneeling on the back of his neck. I didn't see anyone else, but there were some other officers because, like I said, I couldn't really watch the video.
3 officers showed up to the scene.
Yeah, there were other people on his body, like from different angles that have come out, and you see another angle, somebody across the street on the backside. It shows other officers on this man's body who was handcuffed. So us being unhandcuffed,
he wasn't even fighting, was he?
right? Being handcuffed is not enough. Being unhandcuffed is not enough. So what is enough?
Like to their orders, right?
Right. I mean, where does it stop? What's the borderline? When will you stop?
And Trump actually just sent something out saying for police officers to not regard, well, he said basically like it's okay to be rough and you don't have to worry about someone dying in the process.
Did he say that for sure? For sure?
He said something on those lines. She's definitely paraphrasing.
I think I said something. I think I saw something where he said, what did it say?
Talking about he was going to send out the
He says several
he was going to
things.
send out the military if we don't stop rioting.
Oh yeah. He said if
And
the
I don't-
governors don't do anything.
And I agree that rioting is not the answer, in my opinion. And I know everybody, thinks differently. But I don't think rioting is the answer. I think when we riot, we add fuel to the fire. And it changed the perspective. Now they're worried about you rioting instead of justice being served. So you're changing.
Yeah.
They can't focus on this if you're doing this. So
attention
now
is
they gotta
being
focus on
shifted.
this. So you're creating confusion. It may be, I guess, a lot of people do things for their whatever reason, but I feel like you're creating confusion, and you're not making the situation better. Unfortunately, in my opinion.
Okay, so I just feel a little differently. And this is my thought. I know I'm not against, okay, so rioting, no. But I feel like it's a form of their SOS. It's a form of them sending up smoke, buildings burning. You're sending up smoke signals. You're sending out an SOS that says, see me. Hear, not only see me, but hear me. And don't just hear me, but do something about it. Oh, I'm getting a little emotional. But do something about it. This is my SOS. If I march quietly, I get no response. So what you see is an elevation. What you see is something, that has been confined for so long being released, that has been held back for so long being let go. And I think it's like a form of an SOS. Hear me, see me, make change. And if I'm going to give me a laugh in the process, I'm going to give me a laugh in the process. But I'm definitely not for the stealing part. But I think sometimes you do have to erupt the norm. You do have to break through glass ceilings. You do have to break some glass to get recognized and noticed. I know some people may not agree with me. And
wait, are you saying you're condoning the riot?
Yes,
That sounds like you're condoning it.
I'm saying, if it, and I don't, I don't know. I'm not condoning it. No. Because
you're saying that
people
you
get hurt,
understand
but I understand the reason behind and why you get to that point. And don't just do it because you think it's the cool thing to do, or you think it's like a fad, rioting and breaking things. But it's a smoke signal. It's an SOS saying, "Hey, here we are. We're here. Do something." You don't see us? I seen a young girl. She tweeted. She was like, "This isn't enough." She's like, "They don't hear us," and I can agree with that to a degree. I can kind of agree with that because you don't. I don't know who's listening, who's hearing. Who should start Who should start
Yeah.
the next?
Who's the advocate?
Yeah. This is a hard pill to swallow for everyone. Those who have watched, those who have heard, and those of us who are still watching and hearing. It's just very hard to swallow. And I've seen multiple officers who have said clear out that this was absolute murder. But the thing is, I think I read a post. I forgot who said it, but it says racism isn't getting worse. It's just being filmed. These are things that have happened. What about, we've talked about this before with in one of our lives. What about those who don't get filmed, who don't see justice? In certain towns, they still live in with a certain level of fear. And what about those who don't get filmed? So it's happening. We're just seeing the ones who get filmed, but there's things that are happening that don't get on film, that don't get go viral on the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I do appreciate though is the police officers in Minnesota that are getting with the protesters and are on their knees out of respect. And it also, I feel like it's also a big part for them, because they can also face disciplinary actions as well for even agreeing with protesters and being on their knees. Like, that's a big step for them. So I really appreciate them for taking a stand, and that's how they show that they agree with agree with the situation, that it was a wrongful thing, and that something should be done about it.
Yeah, it's a whole system that has to be rewritten. It's a whole system. Just imagine us having to rewrite the Constitution and
the Constitution wasn't even made for us.
Right. It's a whole system that has to be redone. So when you're coming against a whole system, it's going to take time and it's going to take patience. And sometimes lives do get lost. People do get killed in the process. Just like I think about the Underground Railroad, and I think about the lives that were lost, who had to travel far, and people who did not make it. And I think about slavery, how some people had to get lynched. And I think about interracial couples, how some of them were made examples out of. You know, that happens. It's a whole system that has to be changed. And the system, unfortunately, can be corrupt.
And it starts with you. If you feel like something is wrong, you have to speak up. What do we do as a people? We go and vote. A lot of these people are elected. They stay in office because we don't go and remove them. We let them stay in office.
And hold these positions.
Everybody, we can remove them. You disagree? Hey, you didn't handle this situation properly. Now I'm going to take my action by going to vote against you. And I feel like that's something as a people that we should know, that things may not always happen in the justice system as we would like, but we still have power, and we need to use our power. Go vote, vote, vote. Learn about your city, things that are going on in your city, things that are going on in your state.
Who's running for sheriff.
Yeah. Everything. And this is how you take action.
And who's running for these positions to be in to sit behind benches? Who are these judges? What is it that they stand for?
Well, yeah.
What is it that they're against? Well, you know, how did they handle small crimes? What kind of punishment was held down? Those are things to look at when you're voting. Do your homework.
To where your support goes, where does your money go?
Yeah.
Does your money go into businesses that don't see you? Do you put your money in businesses that don't value you? That's another thing.
That's big.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a whole
your
discussion
money is powerful as well. Where you spend your money is powerful.
Well, this conversation can go on and on and
Absolutely,
on.
yes.
There may never be a solution. Hopefully that one day we can come to an agreement. But you guys, thank you for tuning into Now Let's Get Chatty. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And share, please.
And share.
And remember, we love